Welcome to Books for Success. Today, we're unraveling the insights from Animal, Vegetable, Miracle by Barbara Kingsolver and Camille Kingsolver. Embark on a journey of growing your food from the comfort of your home and learn how to introduce this practice into your life. In this summary, you'll learn 1. How to start growing your food. 2. Why it's essential to support farmers. 3. How local food benefits your health. 4. About the problems of farming worldwide. If you like our content, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Don't be shy about smashing that like button if you discover something valuable. Let's grow and succeed together. Here we go. Your body depends on your daily choices. Make every one count. Do you check the nutritional value of the snacks you eat? Even for the snacks from the store around the corner? Even if you did check, would you stop buying? Probably not. The thought of making chips from scratch may sound daunting, but it is easier than you think. Life proceeds at an accelerated pace. Fast fashion, fast food, and fast lives. Nowadays, everyone wants a quick fix to everything, and our food isn't an exception. Sadly, this way of life does more harm than good to our economy, lands, and bodies. Approaching both our environment and ourselves like this is not sustainable in the long run. So, how can you change this cycle and make better choices in your own life? Producing your own food is one of them, and it's not nearly as difficult as you may think. It is a more efficient way to ensure you control the nutritional value of your diet and allow only high-quality ingredients into your body. With time and practice, you can get the hang of it and be on your way to living a more fulfilling life. Barbara Kingsolver, her husband, Stephen Hopp, and her daughters Camille and Lily experienced a total change in their lives when they decided to leave their home in the state of Arizona to start a healthier one in rural Appalachia. Venture on this journey into a world where you will uncover the secrets of this lifestyle and learn how to introduce better practices into your own life. Farming should be everyone's business since we all need food to survive. Our food does not come from a clean and polished store, as modern kids believe. We must make them aware of this. Our knowledge of how to grow food seems to have vanished as we have started focusing squarely on the urban lifestyle. We keep convincing ourselves that rural areas are less important. Many people see education as moving away from manual labor professions and reject any thoughts of having such subjects at schools. People hardly care about the farmers who grow the food they eat. Starting with the Industrial Revolution, farmers began producing 3,900 calories per U.S. citizen daily, owing to many synthetic fertilizers and a general change from natural to mechanical production systems. We consume many of these calories unknowingly. Food culture in the U.S. takes the pattern of a privileged class. Our evolution has conditioned us to make more unhealthy food choices over others, such as choosing foods rich in fats over those that are more nutritious. Therefore, it is no surprise that this generation suffers from various eating disorders, as many illnesses arise from bad eating habits. As a result, our kids will have a shorter lifespan than before. And while everyone knows it's essential to eat more fruit and vegetables, the government gives subsidies to farmers of commodity crops that are not as healthy. It is not enough to ban foods that are harmful to the body when consumed regularly. Instead, a positive food culture should focus on bringing us closer to the land producing our food. First, it encourages us to live on this land and embrace the ideas of food and dirt in the same sentence. Secondly, it urges us to start poking into the supply chain to find out where our food comes from. Did you know? Owing to the Industrial Revolution and changes in the farming system, humans now consume way more calories than ever. Starting a healthy lifestyle might be difficult at first, but it has a lot of benefits. Growing your food means shuffling between home improvement projects, gardening, and canning vegetables. When moving to a rural area, there will be differences in how the trees grow and how the snow falls. The average American family will be more than satisfied with the quality of food from their garden. Although, creating a garden that would feed a family for a long time takes a lot of work and depends on the land's topography. Patience and restraint are fundamental virtues to help you on this journey. Making a grocery list can be challenging when sourcing all your food locally. Depending on how your family runs, you can make room for each family member to have a luxury item not grown locally. The aim is to choose what brings you the most happiness. But whether you purchase a luxury item or eat just homegrown food, choose happiness always. It might be challenging to satisfy everyone in the family, but always ensure everyone participates in the decision-making. People sometimes don't have time to grow their food, which is understandable. The next step should not be to look for the nearest packaged food. Many people do not cook anymore, destroying our culture's bedrock. People often trade an opportunity to prepare a meal to have more time for a career or other attractions. Agreed, people are busier these days and may have little or no time to cook, but you could include cooking as part of your fun activities. It will help you develop a routine that will save time and help build a tradition for your family. The advantages of cooking far outweigh those of eating out. Going local has other advantages, such as contributing toward your community and helping farmers. As a result, you are passing down a vital sense of culture to your children. You are teaching them a healthy way of life and instilling essential values that are fast declining today. Don't let food crops go into extinction. Humans eat a lot of plant species, and over time, almost all human foods come down to 8 species. We are losing food crops because people see the idea of plant varieties as patentable properties rather than what it was before history: just food. Scientists have genetically modified many food crops such that they either have a bacterial gene that kills harmful insects or alters their physiology to withstand herbicides. Disease pathogens and their crop host are constantly improving together or risk going extinct, making it possible for plant diseases to attack plants in new ways. This process risks food systems and restricts our diet to just a few corn and soybean meals. To combat this, some people try to promote gastronomic culture by preserving rare foods, growing, and selling them internationally so these species can keep thriving. You have a role in preserving plant species, even if you're not a farmer. One thing you can do is seek the farmers growing these rare plant species and patronize them regularly. You can also share your experience eating the plant with others, encouraging them to become consumers. The farmers will see a need to keep growing those crops, and we will keep getting different food varieties. Win-win. Farmers regularly encounter many other challenges, one of which is the issue of weeds. Weeds can be helpful at certain times but can also threaten the existence of crops. Most farmers use chemicals to control them, while organic farmers don't, thus posing a challenge. In large operations where mulching is impractical, organic farmers use a 3 to 4 year crop rotation using fast-growing cover crops, which allow weeds to germinate. They then wait for the land to destroy weeds before planting crops. Doing this means they are often unable to produce crops regularly or on a large scale, so they only farm products for their families. The few that farm large enough to sell need our support. You can buy from them, patronize them, or make farm supplies available at subsidized prices. You contribute to economic and environmental growth every time you eat locally produced food. Contrary to some beliefs, all the non-animal food we eat, except pine nuts, seaweed, and mushrooms, comes from flowering plants. Most of the vegetables we eat have a span of 1 year. They start to grow in the spring and finish their cycle in the fall. Unfortunately, we eat most of the food available to us to the detriment of other generations. Even small things like switching to local produce can become a huge contribution. Markets demand consumers who will choose locally grown foods. Locally grown produce is best for the country's overall economy and environment, so we should not prioritize one at the expense of the other. As local producers depend on seasonal change, it's not always best for an ever-demanding capitalist economy. The garden is usually quieter in winter, but there is always something to do. There are weeds to get rid of and compost to prepare. Over the last decade, over 300 farms have disappeared weekly. This is the end of the road for some. But for those who thrive, it is a combination of luck, courage, and adaptability. Farmers should make their products affordable and available to middle-income customers if they want to expand their business. Raising food without polluting the land will always cost more than the usual route many farmers take these days, but Americans want to spend less on food. This fact explains the bad food habits that exist. People want things that make them look cool rather than food that is good for them. Many studies have shown that regularly eating cheaply produced fast food can result in weight gain and increase one's risk of diabetes. At the same time, organic farming is much more labor-intensive. Growing food locally requires relationships, trust, and ensuring that people can rely on the quality of the food you produce. Your environment can influence your diet, so consider seasonal eating. The temperature of the land affects most plants at any given time, but early and careful planning helps you get ready for all the seasons. As tempting as it is to buy all you need from the store, it is possible to carefully plan to have the farm supply your crops all year. To begin this journey, you need to start planting in March or as soon as spring comes. If you start early, you should be reassured about your supply in the following spring. An excellent plant to grow at this time is asparagus, which can be found in many places and makes for a balanced meal. Most of what you've planted begins to blossom in April. Crops like cabbage, onions, potatoes, and kale should grow fully at this stage. Summer is the time for many parties, cooking, canning, and refrigerating for the coming seasons. Plenty of fruits reach maturity in autumn, which is also the best time for meat lovers to store meat for winter. Winter is a calm season as you can't do much but savor the result of the work you've put in earlier. If you live near cold water regions, incorporate more local fish into your diet. People who live in such areas can reduce their chance of depression and bipolar disorder by consuming fish and obtaining the essential omega-3 fatty acid from them. Winter is also best for baking, as the heat from the oven is a good source of warmth. Eating seasonally is not only good for your health. Preparing your meals mostly at home throughout the year also increases savings and reduces the cost of groceries. In addition, family time becomes a happier experience when you frequently eat homemade meals. Even if you can earn more from other jobs besides farming, cooking, and canning can also be delightful. Conclusion: farming is no longer restricted to poor men and women with straw hats who, for lack of a better job, till the ground all day. You can introduce locally grown foods into your life by simply eating healthy foods you or your neighbors locally produce. This habit will simultaneously benefit your health, local economy, and environment. Growing your produce is a solution to numerous health, environmental, and economic problems. 1. Farming helps you eat more fresh fruit and vegetables. 2. You can decide what kinds of fertilizers and pesticides come in contact with your food. 3. You have control over when to harvest your food and its quality. In a nutshell, you are in charge of what you eat from beginning to end. You are what you eat. Therefore, you need to be more deliberate about the efforts you put into your food consumption. So, whether you live in the suburbs or have much land to spare, you can start your little garden where everything blooms and you are happy. Apart from farming your food, you can also patronize organic farmers who put so much effort into producing healthy food for all but do not receive enough appreciation and support in many parts of the world. Buying produce from farmers markets or patronizing local restaurants over fast food chains will go a long way in encouraging these farmers. And in such a way, you will contribute to the world's overall health. Try this. Guarantee healthier meals that cost less by learning which plants grow best in which season and trying to create your little garden. When growing your food, start small and plant things you'd like to eat. If you can't grow your food where you live, try to support your local farmers and cook more of your meals at home. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey. If you've enjoyed our summary, consider reading the full book for a more in-depth exploration. Before you go, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and share this video with someone who could benefit from these insights. Until next time, keep reading, keep learning, and keep growing.